Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Taboo Tattoo Episode 2. Alright, and first off, let me just say, I've been watching the opening a little more closely, focusing more on backgrounds and little details, and in my last review, I mentioned the Beerus-looking rabbit thing that Izzy had behind her when she was fighting with Seigi. And it turns out that everyone with a tattoo also has one of these avatars, I guess you could call them. So it's not just for effect. Um, it's some type of visual representation of their tattoo. In the opening, they show almost like 10 of them. Plus, towards the end of the episode, we end up meeting the Behemoth Viper, and he has one as well to show up behind him. And as a matter of fact, the way the episode starts off, it's with Seigi seeing his avatar in a dream. Plus it also shows up in the opening as well. This is part of the opening where you get to see Princess Aryabhata. You get to see her avatar. It's like the avatar appears on the screen, then her face flashes on there, then it goes off, then it flashes again, and it just keeps flashing back and forth. I don't know how. I luckily managed to pause at just the right moment to get a good screenshot of her avatar. But yeah, so that just wanted to start the review by saying that these things are in fact legit, not just effects. They're a legitimate part of the power scheme, power system. They're a legitimate part of tattoos. So, yeah, I figured I'd start off by saying that. Now, like I said, we opened the episode with Seigi seeing his avatar, and he finally wakes up after that. Izzy ends up explaining to him a little bit about the situation, saying that the tattoos were originally stolen by a researcher. Who that researcher is, we don't know. Who they are affiliated with, we don't know. All we know is that they were stolen by a researcher. Now they're all over the place, and someone stands after them, and the U.S. is trying to retrieve them. Um, and it's the very beginning of the episode where we get the part from the preview last week where Izzy invites Seigi to join the U.S. Army's tattoo retrieval unit, which isn't really an invitation. It's more like an order, because if he says no, then they have to at least take his arm, at least. So they could really be taking more from him than that. They're pretty much threatening him and saying, just do what we say. Which, I mean, she obviously cares about him because he resembles her brother, sister. I don't really know, because some characters can be androgynous, and some of them can be traps, reverse traps, and so we see inside her locket in this episode, and it looks like it's a brother, but I'll just leave it open and say sibling. But the point is, two of them look exactly the same, so we know she has a soft spot for him and she wants to look after him. But she also knows that it would just be, I mean, threatening him is kind of the easy way to do it, especially when you put him in a position where it looks like he just doesn't have a choice. I mean, they also end up saying that you can be swallowed by your own ability and just devoured and killed. So, but if you join with us, then we can actually help you control it, because Tom explains that his Void Maker tattoo creates voids. And voids are a nothingness that swallows space, which kind of confused me, because the way it looked to me last episode when he used it for the first time, the only thing it really swallowed was blood. Because when it came to Teddy, it looked like it pushed him away or like threw him off. It didn't absorb him. Maybe like maybe like a few layers of skin, but like it didn't really absorb anything. It just pushed stuff away. That's why I refer to it as a Rasengan, because it just pushed stuff away. So, I mean, I'm sure throughout the series we will see him use this ability more often, obviously, so we'll get to see more of it, and we'll get to get a true representation of what it is that it can do. But for now, it just surprised me that it swallows things instead of spitting them out like a, I don't even, the Pokemon, what's the Pokemon? The green Pokemon that they used to spit up all the time and swallow in all those attacks. Or whatever. I could have used I had Pokemon on the brain because of Pokemon Go, so I tried to. No, I forgot. I almost had it, then I forgot again. Who cares? It's, Gulpin. There we go, Gulpin. Then it evolves into like Swalot or something. On. Who cares? Who cares? Okay. Well, to be fair, it's a better Pokemon than the ones we're getting for Sun and Moon. Have you seen those new designs? Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. So to be fair, the legendary from Pokemon Moon actually looks pretty cool. But anyway, moving on. Moving on. Okay. Um, yeah, so Seigi does not like the way he's being spoken to by Tom and Izzy, so he starts mouthing off to them like an idiot. He should know by now that well, Tom isn't strong, but he should know by now that he can't beat Izzy. So she ends up pinning him to the ground, stepping on his throat and telling him to stop complaining. And she is right, because the kid wanted power. Now he's got the power, and he's complaining about the fact that the power comes with a cost. Well, that's what did you expect? Like what did you expect? There's going to be a compensation of some sort. And then she ends up telling him that the cost for her power, her compensation, was the fact that she's stuck in a body that doesn't grow anymore. So she's stuck at that age. In reality, when we learn this from Tom later, in reality, Izzy is older than Tom. All right. So yeah, that's most of the time when we see anime characters who their growth has stopped, they usually end up being at a young age. Usually, sometimes you'll see it with adults where they don't age and they're immortal. But when it comes to people who, because something happened to them, their body stops growing, they're usually children. Or at the very least, they take the form of children for the most part, like in the Monogatari series, or BRNK, or what was the anime from like a season or two ago? Babuki, Baranki, BBR, BRNK, whatever. Okay, Babuki Baranki. Look it up on Crunchyroll. Look it up on Crunchyroll. I don't remember. I watched it for like 3 or 4 episodes, but it was kind of getting cliche, and the kids were annoying me, so I just stopped watching it. Though I would assume it got good at some point. The characters were annoying me. The guy who thought he was the leader was just so cliche and annoying. I just couldn't deal with it. All right, but Bubuki Buranki. Okay, just look it up on Crunchyroll. Okay, but anyway, the point is, she's stuck in a body that doesn't grow, and it's understandable how that could be frustrating, especially if you're stuck at a point where like you haven't fully matured as far as uh, like physically. And I don't even mean that like a creepy way. I mean as far as like strength and height and weight and just being able to and just having a physical advantage over people when it comes to combat. I'm not thinking of it in a creepy way, I swear. All right, but it's understandable how she would be frustrated by that, especially when you see the way she treated Toko later. But that's another issue. Okay. Well, actually, no. I might as well just get to it now. She ends up transferring into this entire scene was just filled with cliches, and I just wasn't a big fan. Okay, she transfers into a school, which is the first cliche, which like every show does, and most of the time you don't really blame. I don't even have a problem with the whole transferring in thing. I mean, most of the time it just makes sense. What else are you gonna do, right? It just makes sense. But in this case, it just wasn't really necessary. But again, I don't really care about the transferring in cliche. I just mentioned it because it's just one of the many cliches they use. They use that. Apparently, her real name, Izzy's real name, is Bluesy Fruzy, which is a horror. I thought for sure that was a fake name she came up with for the school. But then she reintroduced herself to Seigi on the roof, and it's like, wow, that's your real name. Then the freaking Behemoth Viper over here called her that too, so that's like legit her name. And I'm thinking, why would you name a character that? I heard some people saying it's a pun, and it's her last name being Fruzy is just a way of calling Americans floozy. But what I don't either way, I'm not calling her that. I'm sticking with Izzy. Okay, but anyway, she transferred in. That's the first cliche. You have the cliche where the attractive transfer acknowledges her relationship with the protagonist. You have the cliche where all the male characters get mad at the protagonist for knowing attractive girls. You have a cliche where they attack the protagonist for knowing attractive girls. You have a cliche. Obviously you have the big-breasted childhood friend, or just childhood friend in general, who gets jealous. Then you have girl on girl sexual assault groping. That's like six cliches in one scene. I was kind of getting tired of it after a while. I, I just didn't care for that. See, it's just too many cliches for me. I just don't care. And it was awkward too. I'm glad at the very least I had headphones on during that because I could have gotten really awkward. All right, but even so, actually that did make it more awkward. I should have just. Jeez, that was just I just didn't care for that scene in general. Okay, but anyway, we go to the rooftop from there. All right. Uh, by the way, she ended up during that entire process in the classroom. Izzy actually slipped a note to Sagi to like a self-drawn map uh, that tells him where her and Tom are staying. Okay, her drawing skills are, I guess, slightly above Rukia level, but I mean, it's still a bad map. All right. But anyway, Sagi takes Izzy onto the rooftop, and Tom comes out of nowhere. All right, and they explain that there are side effects for having a tattoo if you are not compatible with that tattoo, and they say that Izzy is a rare case, but they also say that Sagi is compatible with the triggerless tattoo, and they again just kind of reaffirm that he needs to join them. They also start talking about how tattoos are ancient relics that can't be created in modern times, or at the very least by people who are alive in modern times, unless there's going to be a plot twist later on where someone who was alive like 200 years ago, found some way to survive till now, and then they can recreate more tattoos. That would actually be a good plot twist. That would actually be a really good plot twist. But anyway, they say that the tattoos are actually ancient relics that can't be created in modern times. Um, Sagi gets told that as a member of the tattoo retrieval unit of the U.S. Army, he will be in dangerous life. Well, they don't tell him he'll be in life-threatening situations, but you can assume. I mean, it's the Army, you know. Dangerous pretty much means you're putting your life on the line, all right? And he also ends up asking about their reasons for joining the U.S. Army, the tattoo retrieval unit specifically. And Izzy tells him that she joined, and I guess you could assume that Tom's reasoning is the same, that they both joined in order to prevent war from breaking out between the U.S. and the Kingdom of Sanghanistan. Um, as a matter of fact, they say that Sanghanistan has more knowledge of tattoos than the U.S. does. Um, I, I'm assuming that at some point a plot twist is going to come up where someone in Afghanistan knows how to use tattoos in a way that the U.S. has never seen before, and that's going to be some plot twist to show like how this person got this huge power up. Like the tattoo is going to spread like a curse mark in Naruto, and they're going to like grow wings and start using the Chidori. I'm assuming that something's going to happen where someone uses a tattoo in a way that the U.S. Army had no idea tattoos could actually be used. Okay, but anyway. Afghanistan knows more about tattoos than the U.S. does, but I guess what happened was both Afghanistan and the U.S. were looking for tattoos, and the U.S. found them before Afghanistan could get to them. Um, I'm assuming that Afghanistan didn't create them themselves, because if they did create them, then why would the U.S. have them? Unless the U.S. stole them from Afghanistan, and then the U.S. had them stolen by the researcher, and that just complicates things. I don't think they'll go that far. But the point is, Afghanistan knows enough about tattoos to make them into weapons of mass destruction and use them to take over the world, pretty much. Because that's what Princess Aryabhata is all about. Okay, she believes that she is entitled to the world, that she deserves to rule the world, and she's not going to be satisfied until she does control the entire world. Okay, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay. Izzy does, after hearing the reasoning, Sagi decides that he is going to join Izzy and Tom in the U.S. Army. However, he says that if he ever sees them doing something that he disagrees with, he's going to fight against them with everything he's got. Which makes me think that at some point we will see someone switching sides here, not necessarily Sagi. Like I said with my last review, I think the sword girl with the black hair, I think that she's going to switch sides, and I'm thinking now that the other sword girl with the yellow hair, who's a part of Brahman, Brahman being the personal tattoo force of Princess Aryabhata, though I guess she's queen now. but they still call her princess anyway. Um, I'm thinking that those two are going to change sides because if you think about it, it's not often that you see a young character or a Lolly character on the side of the villains who actually stays on the side of the villains. Like, I'm thinking we just had Bungo Stray Dogs. That Lolly didn't stay with the villains. Strike the Blood, Astarte, she didn't stay with the villains. Usually the Lollies end up changing sides and going to the good side, right? Instead of staying on the dark side. So I'm thinking that she's going to switch sides as well as the black-haired girl with the sword and the tape and stuff. Uh, oh, by the way, we get a confirmation that black-haired girl with the sword and the tape and stuff, she's actually part of Brahman as well. Later in the episode, Tom gets a call, and we get this visual on the screen that black-haired girl with the sword standing next to Aryabhata and the lolly blonde with the sword and R.R. Laka, who is the behemoth spider. All right, so we get a confirmation of that as well. All right, but but the way he said, if I ever see you do something I disagree with, I'm gonna fight you with all I've got. So I'm thinking there are going to be people switching sides, not necessarily him, but there will be people switching sides. All right, now. Um, Before this conversation ends entirely and then leave the roof, Izzy tells Seigi that his trigger is blood, which, like I said last week, it looks like his trigger is blood. But I don't... Why would a triggerless tattoo have a trigger? That's what I got caught up on with the last review. I'm like, well, it looks like his trigger is blood, but it's the triggerless tattoo, so it shouldn't have a trigger. Maybe the blood is being sucked up by the void or something, but no, because it got sucked up directly and it was probably the tattoo was, so it still doesn't make sense to me how the triggerless tattoo needs a trigger to activate. I'm assuming they're going to explain that at some point. I don't really know. One would assume that they would explain. They have to. It's actually, no, I take that back. They have to explain it because Princess Aryabhata sent out orders to capture the user of the triggerless tattoo. So that tattoo is obviously more important than the others. It's the most important one, or at least one of the most powerful, right? So there's something special about that tattoo, and I'm assuming when we get the explanation for why that tattoo is so special, they'll explain why it's labeled as a triggerless tattoo, even though it actually has a trigger. Or maybe, or is it that the human themselves needs the trigger, or the tattoo needs the trigger? Because like maybe it's not the tattoo that has blood as its trigger, but it's Seigi who has blood as his trigger. You know what I mean? So maybe if Seigi got another tattoo that wasn't the triggerless tattoo, maybe blood would still be his trigger then. Maybe it's like a personal thing, not a tattoo thing. But I don't know. But then you would have to explain what triggerless means anyway. Maybe it means side effect. Maybe the triggerless tattoo has no side effect, and then why would you call it the triggerless tattoo? I don't know. They'll explain it at some point. They have to. They have to explain it at some point when they're talking about why it's so important. They'll have to. All right. So, but we can move on from that. When we see the same scene that we see Izzy looking at her locket, and we see who's inside it for the first time. That's the same scene where Tom tells her that she did the right thing, and that telling the truth isn't always right, which means that she's hiding something from him. So we don't know what exactly. Maybe it's her sibling. Maybe she's hiding why it is she's doing this for him. Maybe that's it. But I would like to think that it's a bigger secret than that she's hiding from him. I'd like to think that she's hiding something from him that could potentially make him switch sides, that could potentially turn him into an enemy of the U.S. Army, or something, something that at least questions his resolve in siding with them. I'd like to think it's something relatively big. All right. They also say that they're not going to report back to the U.S. for a while. Which it's Izzy's call. If I know anything about the American government, which I'm American, so I'd like to think I know a little bit about the American government. If they lose an asset, or if an asset just stops responding, they're going to assume something happened. So they'll probably send a team in to look at to go find them and see what's going on, right? That's what I'm assuming. So I'm assuming I'm making a lot of assumptions here. We're probably gonna meet some more members of the tattoo retrieval unit at some point. They're gonna come in looking for Tom and looking for Izzy, trying to figure out what's wrong. Then they're gonna find Seigi and think, "Whoa, Trickless. Okay, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. We need to report back to back to HQ with this." And it's just gonna be like, no, you can't do that, because if you do, they're just gonna experiment on him, and I don't want that to happen. And then we're gonna have a civil war in our hands. Taboo tattoo civil war in theaters. Never mind. I'm horrible, Jim. So the point is, I can see this going a number of different ways. I don't know how far they're going to go with it, but at the very least, it's going to follow some type of path like that I just laid out. Okay. Um, Now, this next scene is when we see Selena stand, and we see evil Rin, Princess Aryabata. The fact that she looks like Rin automatically makes me care. I'm automatically invested now, because everybody knows that Rin is best girl. She just, like, Saber is best character, female character, because we can't ignore Archer. Saber is best female character, but she's not best girl. Okay, Rin is best girl. Okay, so the fact that Aryabata looks like Rin, I'm already invested. I'm already invested. All right, so, and we see her. She's killed both of her parents, and she's taken over the kingdom from them. She has this animal beast thing. I forgot its name, because I was gonna write it down, and then I just chose not to, because half of these names are just spelled really just crazy. Um, but the point is, she has a big animal thing that she killed her parents with, and um, I mean, she has her own personal force again, the Brahman. So, um, oh, by the way, during this entire scene, she was like playing Pokemon or something. Like, her character looked like Eric Cartman from the back. I'm like, wait, what is it? What game is this? I want it. All right. I don't know. It looked like Pokemon, but then when the fight started to look like it wasn't. I don't know. Pokemon's like the only mobile Pokemon. Pokemon is like the only handheld RPG game that I play. That's repetitive. Pokemon's the only one I play for the DS, so I wouldn't. But then again, it was Sony, so I don't know. I don't know. The point is, I'm just assuming it's a South Park version of Pokemon. South Park actually had an episode that was based off of Pokemon. What was it called? Chin Pokemon, I think it was called. It was funny, but anyway. So I'm getting off on a lot of tangents this week. Anyway, this scene shows us just how ruthless Aryabata is. Okay, that was the point of this, and to show us that she's taken over Selena's stand, and that just means we're even closer to war now. Obviously, since she sent 2 members of the Brahman after the triggerless tattoo user, who we know is Seigi. All right. Now later, back to Seigi, he takes the note that Izzy gave him, and he uses that map to get to the house that her and Tom are staying at. Okay. However, Toko follows him. All right, and because of the fact that she followed him, she ended up getting attacked by the blonde lolly with the sword who's in the Brahman. Okay, and we saw her earlier with Laka. They pass each other on the street. I don't really know what the purpose of that scene was. I'm assuming it was just to let us know that they're there and that they're actually in town. I don't think there was because the way it was shot, the way it was filmed, they were focusing on streetlights and the walking signs, and you can't walk now. Like I don't really. I'm assuming the only point in that was to just let us know that they're there. I don't think there's anything to really look into there. All right, that's why I didn't mention it earlier. But we see her, and we don't see how she attacks Toko. All we know is that she puts her palm on her head. Well, I guess we see how she attacks Toko, just not we saw how she initiated the attack, but now not how the attack ended. Okay, but I'm assuming that her trigger is chain, because we see like chains hanging down from her, and I don't really see any reason in having them unless you're gonna fight with them. But I don't think she fights with them, because in the ending theme you don't see her with chains, you only see her with her sword. And the power of her tattoo is to take control of, or I'm another assumption. It can be a few things, right? It could be a few things. It could be that she controls Toko, or maybe she transformed into Toko. Maybe she's like a mind transfer jutsu to get inside her body, but she's not control. Like, I'm trying to make this distinction to determine whether or not there's one person to worry about or two. Okay, I'm trying to make that distinction, because let's say she just transformed into Toko. That means Toko's laying outside unconscious. Okay, and she could like wake up or something and try to do something. All right, but if she's controlling Toko, then she can come in and start fighting as well. Then it's a 2-on-1 fight. Maybe she used a mind transfer type of jutsu, but like with her entire body. Like maybe she literally like fused with Toko and is now controlling her consciousness. Like I, I don't. Her ability is such where we can't tell yet if it's going to be a 2-on-1 fight or not. That's what I'm trying to determine here, whether it's 2-on-1 or not. But it can be either of those abilities, maybe even something else. Maybe she's creating clones of Toko that listen to her and do her bidding. It could be anything, right? But anyway, Tom ends up getting that call from someone in the U.S. Army. I like to think it's that girl with the guns with like the top that like goes down to here. I like to think it's her because she looks like she's going to be relatively important. So and she's probably going to be the one that comes to Japan looking for them. I'm just assuming it's her. That's just me trying to be a know-it-all, which it's probably because it looks good if I'm right, but it doesn't look too bad if I'm wrong. Because how could I even know that in the first place? Of course I'm going to be wrong. But what if I'm not? Then I look awesome. So that's all. That's all I'm trying to do. But Tom gets a call from some girl from the U.S. Army, so he figures out everything about Aryabata. But before he can do anything about it, he's attacked by Toko with an umbrella, no less, which gave me flashbacks to the anime Another. I don't know how many people watched the anime Another, but it's one of those animes that has a lot of death to the point where it's actually kind of funny. Like, because the nature of these deaths, it's so unnatural. It's like there's no, like, it's so supernatural. There's obviously some force that is forcing this, which that's part of the story anyway. But it's so obvious that these aren't natural deaths. I mean, they are, but not really. So it got to the point where these deaths were kind of funny. Like I was watching it with a club at one point, the anime club in my college, and it got to the point where we just didn't even feel bad anymore. We were just laughing. We were looking forward to seeing how people died, and one of the original people that died because of an umbrella. So when I saw this scene, it started giving me flashbacks. I'm like, oh no, it's turning into Another. But anyway. No, which it was actually a really well animated scene. The way like they went in between his legs and then showed the door opening and then took like it was a really well animated scene. Um, but that we see Seigi coming up from the basement and then he sees Toko there and he's like he doesn't really know what to do. Toko reveals that she has orders. Well, it's the blonde girl. She reveals that there are orders to retrieve the triggerless tattoo. Um, we also That's all we see. That we don't really see how Seigi's going to deal with the situation, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing because he can't use his tattoo. He can't. The void is just going to hurt Toko, which is why it's so important to figure out whether or not it's a one-on-one battle or 2-on-1 battle. Because if it's 2-on-1, he can use the void on the girl, which he probably still won't do because she's a girl. And I don't even mean like when I say girl, I don't mean female. I mean girl as in like little girl, like she's just a child. That's what I mean by that. Um, but we also see Izzy. She's not bugging the school. She's like setting up sensors that can figure out when a tattoo is being activated because of ripples that it gives off or something. And then whenever a tattoo is being activated, these lights start going off and sirens, and like her phone starts going off and stuff like that. And that's when we see the Behemoth Viper, R.R. Laka. He appears and just starts fighting her. This dude's a mega level pervert. Okay, he's not a rookie level. He's not a champion level. He's not even ultimate. This dude is a mega level pervert. He's in Hisoka territory right now. Like he's in Hisoka territory. All right. The difference is that he's like Hisoka is more calm about it. Like this guy he's not just a pervert, he's a troll too. So he does it specifically to piss her off. And he just enjoys pissing her off doing it. It's actually kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's he starts attacking her with his whip and he completely destroys her shirt, but he leaves his skirt intact and he's like, well, not intact, but pretty much. And he goes, well, I just listened to my lower body, I know what it was. I'm just like, yeah, this dude is too much. This dude is too much. So, so that fight scene starts. The same one from the opening, actually. Relative, like towards the beginning of the opening, we see the two of them fight. So, that's the fight that starts. Her chalk gets destroyed. I don't know if she has more of it. If she has multiple packs, I don't. And if she does, I don't know where she'd be hiding them. They'd probably be destroyed by now. I mean, but well, then again, the skirt was left untouched for the most part. So I guess if she had to have had pockets or something. So I get maybe she still has more chalk left down, and maybe she gets like the chalk dust or something. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's not that. I don't know, but we have two fights to look forward to for the next episode. Oh, and just some side notes. Izzy and Tom have a pet bunny. So there's no way that's a coincidence. I'm calling it right now. No way that's a coincidence. That has something to do with the Izzy's avatar or whatever. You know, it has something to do with that. I'm calling it right now. There's no way that's a coincidence that they have a pet bunny. Though Segi's reaction to it was funny. He literally just completely changed his character for those 2 seconds. Like it caught me off guard. I'm like, wait, is this the same? Is this the same Akatsuka Justice that I saw from the last 1.5 episodes? It was great. It was funny too. But also the basement is huge in their house. I think that I don't think that's just like a. I think there's a reason for that. Like I don't think it's just. I don't think it's something as simple as the house was built, then they built something underground, and then they just kept going. Like I don't think it's something as simple as I think there's like some type of ability going on, or some type of magic item of some sort, or something. That cardboard box, maybe. I don't. I don't think that's normal though. I think I think there's something special there. I don't think it's just gonna go off, and I don't think it's gonna be put off as a joke or whatever, like the Pokemon Center in the games. I think it's gonna be something actually legit. But there's that, and then the last thing I want to mention is just a question I have: does the amount of blood that Segi uses affect the size of the void he creates? Okay, that's my question. Does the amount of blood that gets absorbed in the tattoo affect the size of the void? Can he create like mini voids? You know, that's something I'm interested in figuring out when we see him fight later on. But hopefully we do get to see that soon. I'm looking forward to the next episode. These two fights, the animation is so good. I'm just really looking forward to seeing what happens here. Plus, I need to see how he deals with. I'm assuming Toko isn't going to die. So we have to figure out how it is he's going to deal with Toko in the future, because she's not just going to sit here and let this slide. You know, she already knows something suspicious. That's why she followed him in the first place. Now she's gotten attacked. There's no way she's going to sit here and say, okay, I'm going to turn a blind eye to it. No, she's definitely getting involved. So I'm just interested in seeing how things go in the next episode. But as for this one, I will give it an 8.5 out of 10. We learn more information here. Again, great animation, started some good fights, more character introductions. Plus, we got Aryabata and the head of the Brahman. We saw him as well. The guy in the opening, he was like spinning around, like black stuff coming out of his eyes and crap. You know, I forgot his. I should have written his name down too, but I knew I wasn't going to talk much about him, so I didn't feel like writing his name down. But yeah, there's some great moments in this episode, but we also had the annoying stuff with the cliche scenes. So with that stuff, I can't give it a 9, so I'm giving it an 8.5. And that is that, you guys. Rate, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at BlacklistOTA. And I will see you guys next time.